The practice of herbal medicine in antiquity was not separate from everyday living. It was an integral part of every custom, celebration, and recipe throughout the ancient world. In ancient Greek mythology, there are countless associations between ancient gods and medicinal plants, many of which have names related to their Greek origin. Sacred ceremonies involved the use of both culinary and medicinal herbs for secret recipes, while ancient scholars wrote extensively on their uses for both serious and acute illnesses. Ancient kings sought to extend their empires not only to have unlimited access to gold and other highly coveted minerals, but also to the valuable treasures of the plant world, herbs, spices, perfumes, and incense, all to ensure the health of their civilization and thus a long-lasting legacy. The ancient Greeks are most notably known for their contributions to modern medicine through the teachings of Hippocrates. Known as the father of modern medicine, the Hippocratic Oath continues to bind modern-day physicians to first do no harm. To explain how the body became sick, he applied the theory of the four bodily humors: blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile. When these were balanced, good health was enjoyed, whereas disease and illness resulted from an imbalance of one or more of these bodily substances. His infamous quote, "Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food," truly reflected the integral role of plants and their healing powers in maintaining a thriving ancient civilization. Ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle, who wrote extensively on the diversity of plants and animals, expanded the theory of the four humors to correspond to the four elements of fire, air, water, and earth. Each of these elements have qualities of hot or cold and wet or dry, and corresponded accordingly. Fire is hot and dry, air is hot and wet, water is cold and wet, and earth is cold and dry. These qualities were then related to the four humors of the body. Blood as air, phlegm as water, yellow bile as fire, and black bile as earth. Ancient physicians sought to identify the imbalances in the body according to the qualities exhibited by the patient. Herbal medicine was administered to help restore the body to its natural balanced state. Take, for example, the qualities of oregano, hot and dry, and imagine how critical it could be to heal someone suffering from a cold and congested state. If you've ever taken oil of oregano to stave off a cold, you'll more easily understand this concept. Another theory employed during ancient times, and which could possibly explain the origins of how people first understood the medical properties of plants, was the Doctrine of Signatures. This theory, which continues to be referenced in present day, states that plants resembling parts of the human body, or resembling their action on the body, hold curative properties for that body part. Examine the shape of a walnut and notice its similarity to the shape of the human brain. Or look at the bright yellow flowers of St. John's wort and imagine how it brings light to the soul. Ancient civilizations did not separate the divine world from the natural world, and therefore the design of medicinal plants was the result of mystical and sacred intentions. Intertwining theology and natural sciences, a practice that would continue well into the Middle Ages, was a central aspect of medical thought and an important component for healing. While these ancient theories are no longer used in modern medicine, they continue to remain a critical resource to understanding how people once understood the natural world and how they sought to learn about the human body without the modern techniques we now have. Two notable ancient Greek writers, Theophrastus of Lesbos and Dioscorides of Asia Minor, propelled the study of natural history and herbal medicine through the wide distribution of their surviving texts, Inquiry into Plants and De Materia Medica, respectively. As a student of both Plato and Aristotle, Theophrastus was heavily influenced by his teachers and wrote his 9-volume book, Enquiry into Plants, to provide detailed descriptions of the natural world, including the classification and identification of varieties of trees, shrubs, and plants. Today, he is considered the father of botany. Dioscorides, the ancient scholar most celebrated for his contribution to the study of herbal medicine, was a medical botanist and Greek physician in the Roman army who achieved world-renowned fame with the publication of De Materia Medica. His 5-volume series, Latin for On Medical Material, describes approximately 600 plants for more than 1,000 traditional medicines. This would become the basis of European and Western pharmacopoeia for centuries after. It was subsequently translated into Latin, Arabic, Italian, German, Spanish, French, and finally into English in the 1600s. For the first time in known history, herbal medicine was documented and distributed across the ancient world, and the publication would be extensively referenced for the following 1,500 years. These records provide an exciting and comprehensive resource, not only for herbalists interested in the traditional and folk use of plants, but also for botanists, environmentalists, archaeologists, and historians, as well as those whose Greek ancestors wove these practices into their family customs. As a Greek American whose parents were born in Lesbos, I find it critical to understand how the natural world can keep us healthy in a modern world overcome with so many diseases. By researching ancient traditions preserved in numerous celebrated texts, I hope to be able to preserve the knowledge and recipes that vibrantly define Greek culture. To highlight some of these medicinal plants, I have selected 7 herbs extensively used both in antiquity and in present day to demonstrate the timelessness of the human experience in relation to herbal medicine. It's important to note that herbalists in the United States are prohibited by law from stating that herbal medicine can treat, cure, or prevent disease. However, the traditional use of these plants demonstrate that they can indeed help us in both sickness and health. Oregano is by far the most popular herb in Greece. Among all oregano in the world, Greek oregano is considered true oregano and is the most pungent and strongest medicinally. The name is derived from the Greek word oreganon, meaning joy of the mountain, oros, mountain, and the verb ganusthai, delight in. In ancient mythology, the goddess of love, Aphrodite, planted the herb in her garden on Mount Olympus to demonstrate to humans the physical representation of happiness. The herb was then woven into wedding crowns for newly married couples to ensure a happy marriage. Among its many medicinal benefits, oregano has antioxidant components that boost immunity, kill bacteria, and increase production of white blood cells, which aids in faster recovery from illness. It has omega-3 fatty acids that help rebalance cholesterol levels, support heart health, and strengthen bones, and is high in minerals that stimulate the liver's ability to detox. Thai tuvunu is known as mountain tea because it grows wild throughout the mountainsides of Greece. In ancient times, it was administered to wounds caused by iron weapons during battle, and subsequently was also called ironwort. Greek siderides is literally translated to he who is made of iron. Customarily, the whole herb is used in an infusion and can strengthen the immune system, aid in digestion, and help prevent colds. Lemon balm has its Latin botanical name Melissa officinalis because of the honeybee's love for its aromatic flowers. Melissa is Greek for honeybee. In ancient mythology, the group of nymphs called Melissae were credited as those who discovered honey. The herb is well known to calm the heart and uplift the spirit during times of stress, and can support those with anxiety, depression, insomnia, and panic attacks. It also has strong antiviral properties against herpes and shingles. Dioscorides mentions its use as a wine-infused liniment in his De Materia Medica. Bay leaf is called Daphne in Greece, in reference to the myth about the god Apollo pursuing the uninterested nymph Daphne. In response to her pleadings, the gods granted her protection from Apollo by turning her into a bay tree, and heartbroken Apollo subsequently symbolized the tree in honor of love-shorn poets. In ancient Greece and Rome, bay leaves were used to make crowns for kings, war heroes, and Olympians, and was said to provide protection from disease and evil spirits. The priestesses at the Temple of Delphi may have drank high-dose bay leaf tea to induce a trance state and be able to divine the will of the gods. Today, bay leaves are added to foods, such as lentils, to improve digestion, made as a tea to help fight colds and fevers, and used externally to relieve arthritic pain and swelling. It may also help reduce the risk of cardiovascular diseases. St. John's wort, Hypericum perforatum, was also once believed to protect people from curses and demons. Hippocrates, Theophrastus, and Dioscorides all wrote about its many therapeutic applications. The herb is most often used for depression and anxiety, and when you crush its bright yellow flowers, you'll be surprised when a red dye appears. When macerated and soaked in olive oil, this can be used externally for inflammation, neuralgic pain, bruises, and swelling. The red color was likened to blood and thought to indicate its wound-healing properties. Given its antiviral properties, it also helps healing from shingles and herpes, and taken together with lemon balm can provide a more profound healing effect. As an Orthodox Christian tradition, the plant was harvested and hung above icons on St. John's Day, immediately following the summer solstice. The botanical name Hypericum may be derived from the Greek hyper and icon, meaning above the icons. For those on certain pharmaceutical drugs, this herb should not be considered for any application. Mastic tree produces a resin, mastica, that has been harvested for at least 3,000 years exclusively on the island of Chios. Hippocrates recommended mastic for the prevention of digestive problems and colds and to maintain oral health. It was also used as a remedy to heal wounds, including snake bites, and improve the condition of the blood. Mastic contains powerful antioxidants and has anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, and antifungal properties, making it a trifecta of powerful healing qualities. Even today, the resin is being studied for its ability to repair ravaged nerves, as described in a recent article in the New York Times. Sage, Salvia officinalis, is derived from the Latin word to heal, and was the symbol of fertility, good health, and a long life. The ancient Greeks, believing that sage protected one from evil and conferred wisdom, used it to enhance mental abilities and in sacred gatherings. It was drank as a tea to increase fertility and improve digestion, and applied externally to treat venomous snake bites, a seemingly common problem in ancient Greece. Dioscorides recommended sage wine for disorders of the kidneys, bladder, and sides, as well as for coughs, hernias, bruises, and impeded menstrual flow. Sage continues to be an antiseptic and natural digestive, and excellent for its anti-diabetic action. While some ancient applications of herbal medicine are no longer used today for obvious reasons, lethal battle wounds or venomous snake bites, the medicinal qualities of these plants remain unchanged. It is exciting to imagine our ancient Greek ancestors harvesting leaves for the same tea we can also enjoy under the same bright Mediterranean sun. As Herodotus, the father of history, once proclaimed, "Custom is king."